Hi, well thanks for joining us again. I got a great video for you today. I want to go over a common problem I've been seeing off and on with some clients or patients or people doing lunges in general. When you have hip weakness, it can translate to a lot of different problems. Sometimes it's a technique issue, but oftentimes hip weakness can actually cause pain elsewhere, somewhere as low down into your foot or even your knee. So I'm going to go over an example of a common mistake I see when people are doing lunges and a simple way that you can correct it too. So if you can back up a little bit so you can see me a little bit better. Oftentimes when people are doing a lunge, if they're doing a backward lunge for example, the idea is to put all the weight on one leg and have their hip and their knee bend while the spine stays in a relatively neutral position to come back up. A common mistake I see, however, is in translating a lot of the weight onto the back leg. And what this can do is this can put a disproportionate amount of stress on the front of the back foot as well as onto the front of the back knee. The common complaint is having knee pain or having foot pain on the opposite leg, the leg you're really even not supposed to be working. And usually the issue, sometimes this is simply technique, but oftentimes it's weakness in the hip that you're trying to work, in this case the right hip. So if there's a lot of weakness, usually they'll translate weight off that leg and onto the back leg. So here's a quick solution to that. Go over to the rack here. A lot of times the weight of someone's own body is a little bit too much, so a way that you can take some weight off their body and make the exercise a little bit more manageable for them is to have something to hold on to. A band is great because it still requires you to have to balance, but it does give you some weighted assistance. So if you can take a side shot from over here, you can see that. So what we often see is that once we get somebody something to hold on to and we cue them on the right technique, they're able to come down into the right position. The band is able to manage their weight so that they're not lifting the entire body weight, but a fraction of it. Usually their proper awareness of technique, once you teach them what to do, they're able to do it correctly and they're not putting a lot of stress on the back foot and the knee causing a problem. So coming over here, that's really a key example of having weakness in one leg, especially in the hip, can translate to pain or problems in the foot or the knee below on the opposite side. So some key things in summary. Proper lunge technique is critical, making sure that you're driving with your hip, especially pushing through your heels so your hamstrings and your glutes are doing a lot of the effort. Make sure you have proper load. Sometimes your own body weight is a lot for your own leg. Just me doing the lunge is 190 pounds in one leg. Sometimes it's too much for certain people, and you can modify that with having the proper load by deloading through the bands. And finally, this is a general theory, you can correct hip weakness by doing isolation exercises like leg lifts, and those are fine. But I think we should start using dynamic movements, not just isolation exercises, as a way to correct weakness. And that's a perfect example of how to do that. So hopefully that gives you a little cue, a little idea about how we assess things and how we fix things. And if, of course, you have any questions, feel free to email me at mike@spectrumfit.net. Thanks so much.